Hey everybody, welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli. I wanted to talk to you guys about Grand Junction. I was there the earlier part of the weekend. I took Thursday and Friday off of school. I had a gig on Thursday at an Italian restaurant called Enzo's, and I had a lot of fun. It was great. And there's good and bad about the small town vibe. I know Grand Junction is hardly tiny. I think I'm not sure exactly. I want to say it's 70, maybe 80,000 people live there. It's pretty sprawling, so it doesn't feel like a really small town. It has everything you need. It's very dry. It's the high desert, and it was hot, but it's been hot and dry in Denver too, so it didn't really feel any different. I got to stay with one of my best friends, Josh Branson, and his mother. And I only want to talk about comedy in Grand Junction, but I also want to talk about Josh a little bit. We'll start with him. He's had a pretty hard life the last 25 years. He's one of that group of people I met at the Tivoli 12 when I was working at that theater in the late 80s, early 90s. He was a projectionist for a few years, I believe. I think he started in '89, got to know each other, became part of this core group of friends that just did all kinds of stuff together. We called them male bonding trips. You go camping and get drunk and do stupid things like that. Went out dancing, went to Rock Island a lot, which was a very popular bar at the time. Watched a lot of movies together. Would just stay after work and crack open a couple beers and hope the manager wouldn't come down and check on us. And we'd just thread up a film and watch it after work, and go to Denny's and go to Perkins and go to Reese's Coffee House downtown. And so I got to know these guys really well, and they've become lifelong friends. And unfortunately, in 1996, Josh was driving back from Vail. He had just patched up things with his girlfriend, and he hit a moose. And the reason I kind of snicker, not because of what happened, because what happened to him was horrific, but he even jokes about it. I was like, he goes, I fucking hit this elk on stilts, because that really is what a moose is. And they can go up to 1,500 pounds, I believe. They're huge animals. And he was driving like a Toyota Celica, and so he hit this moose, and it absolutely flattened his car. If you look, he showed me pictures of the car later, and I was blown away that he lived. Honestly, I think everyone's amazed that he lived. I'm glad he lived. He's an amazing guy. He's done tons of cool artwork. He's done commercial and private artwork. I stayed with him and his mom at his mom's house the last 2 nights, and they came to watch me do comedy. And his art's everywhere, and he's a very talented guy. But yeah, he's had it hard the last 25 years. I mean, he was in a coma for 4 months. Unfortunately, right when this happened was right as I was leaving for Cleveland, when Dylan and I were starting our life there. So I wasn't able to do very much for him. I didn't even get to visit him in the hospital. It happened, I think, literally like a week before we left. Maybe a little more, but it was not much. And my life was a big scrambled mess, getting ready to get married, getting ready to go to Cleveland, getting ready for a lot of stuff, including clearing out our house and our apartment and going to a new home. So I feel kind of bad that I never got to see him when he was in that state, and at least get to say, hey, come on, you'll get through this. And he did get through this. He's got a lot of resolve. He's a strong person. Proud to be his friend. And so I got to spend a couple days with him and his mom, and like I said, they came and saw me do comedy. That was a lot of fun. He has short-term memory loss, and so that can be difficult sometimes. It's hard because I felt bad because we had lunch yesterday at this cool place in Grand Junction. It's like this one of the tallest buildings in Grand Junction, which isn't very. It's like, I think we're on the 4th floor of this building, but you can see it. It's right off the campus of Mesa College, and we just got to. It was a nice little meal. We got to check out and see the whole city. But he told me a joke, and it's a joke that Steve Martin tells, and it has to do with a goat and an anvil, and I don't want to tell the whole joke, but some of you may have heard it, some of you may not. But literally, this is the 4th time he's told it to me recently, and I felt bad because I said, hey man, I hate to tell you this, but this is like the 4th time you've told me this joke this summer. And he was kind of not happy that I did that, but I was also like, I know I'm not doing you a favor by cutting you off, but I also want you to understand, like, if I don't laugh heartedly like I did the first 2 or 3 times at this joke, I want you to understand that you've told it to me. I'm trying to let you know that. I don't want to be the guy that goes, ah ha ha ha, and acts like I've never heard it before, because I want to be honest with you and understand that I know you've had a traumatic brain injury, and I know you're going to deal with that till the day you die. But I just also want to be honest with you and say, hey man, you've told me this joke like a lot lately. So he wasn't too happy about it, but at least he understood where I was coming from. And it's interesting being with him. You get a lot of stories over and over. That's comes from the brain injury. That's what he's dealing with. But you also have a guy who has just lived a pretty cool life. He was in Europe, I think, right when I was, or maybe right before or after, right around. We were in Europe around the same time. And he did it a really cool way. He went on a motorcycle and he saw Ireland, he saw the Netherlands, and he saw Germany and France, and he saw a lot of the same countries I did when I was there. And so it's kind of fun to hear some of those stories. Some of those stories I've heard before, but some of those stories I haven't heard before. So it's kind of cool when he goes into that stuff. He's really big into experiences. He's a true artist, and I'm just proud to be his friend, and I'm really glad I got to spend some time with him. I'm also happy because I did really well. I had a good set. Bummed that it didn't get recorded because Logan was supposed to record it, and he used too much of his phone. He said, "Sorry, Dad, I got like 4 minutes in and it stopped." I was like, "That's all right." I did about 15 minutes, I think. I was slated to do 20, but the host, his name is Blake Cruz, really nice guy. He puts the whole show together, and he's like, "Dude, just go as long as you want. When you're done, you're done. It's fine." And so that's what I did. And I was mad at myself for forgetting a few of my good jokes, but it's okay. It happens. But it was a good experience, and I told Blake, man, I've got fall break in October, like the 17th through the 24th, and if you'd like to have me come up, I would love to do it again if you're doing anything that week. And he said, that's the week of my birthday. I may have a show for my birthday. And I said, hey, I don't want these guys to think that you hire the same comics over and over. So if you don't want to, I totally get it. But if you do want me to, I'd love to come up again. And I always get to stay with Josh and his mom Sally, and Sally has a couple little Australian healer herder dogs, and they're great. Dashka, this is gonna be loud. Dashka and Danny, I love the dogs. And then you've also got they got a really fat, beautiful cat. And they got a couple feral cats because it's a big piece of property. Josh said when he was a kid they raised horses there, and there's like a couple apple trees and a bunch of elm trees, so it's shaded and nice. It's still pretty hot, but it's nice. I mean, there's an old barn there, and she has a couple trailers on the property, and she plans on in November, I think, taking the trailer down to Arizona. But it's kind of funny to me. She says she's gonna be a snowbird. I'm like, man, the way the Earth is going, you probably won't see much snow in Grand Junction unless we get this climate problem turned around. But that's what she wants to do, and she's a very independent woman. I love Sally. She's 78. She feeds us. I like, can I pay you since we're staying here? And if I had to stay at a hotel and pay for my own food, I'd be in at least a few $100s. And she's like, no, it's all good. And so it's great. It's a great, very relaxing time there, and I just love it. The drive was not that bad. I don't know if any of you know or care, but Glenwood Canyon had mudslides about a month ago, and luckily they cleaned them up pretty quickly. I mean, there's still only one lane in some spots, but it wasn't that bad. And especially coming back on a Saturday morning and leaving on a Thursday evening or afternoon, we had no problems at all. Each way I got in under 4 hours, which is a good drive from here to Grand Junction. You get in under 4 hours, it's great. I'm probably leaving out good details and giving you bad details. I haven't done this in a few days, and all it takes is a few days, I think, and you get kind of rusty. It really is funny. There's like a muscle, there's a muscle memory to doing these little 10-minute videos, and I also think I lost some of that when I was doing the ones with Logan, because I felt almost more like a podcast or an interview than an actual, whatever this is I do, but it felt a little different. So I guess I'm a little out of whack, but I just, Grand Junction is an interesting place. But in the end, my hope is that hopefully this country can start healing, can start getting back together, and I hope I can do my tiny little percentage of that by making a few people laugh, and hoping that, conservatives, liberals, and the rest of us can all get together and just have a good time together, because in the end, I think that's all it's about. What it's all about, life is all about, is just having fun and being productive and being a good person until you die. So that's about all I got. I'll end it a little short and be thankful. And that was another thing. Actually, I won't end it short now. Josh is constantly saying how thankful he is and how lucky he is. And when a guy that almost died and is in pain and has the sort of brain traumas he has had, but yet is still thankful, that's a big deal. That's a big lesson for me. And as it starts to rain, I will turn this off. Thanks, you guys. See you next time. Bye.